Like to see how to assemble a Quadrajet carburetor, then keep on watching. What's up, you guys? Welcome back for another video, or if you're new, welcome. Please consider subscribing before you leave. We do some pretty badass stupid shit and it would really help us out. So this video is very unexpected and unplanned, but Kyler did end up getting a new carburetor, well, just another one. And the reason being is you see all that corrosion and just nastiness. This is the old one. So Kyler's gonna take the best parts from both of them and making a better carburetor. So this is gonna be more of just like a detailed video of the assembly, like just the whole process. I know it's just rebuilding a carburetor, but hopefully it's informative. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, consider giving us a like. But anyways, let's get on to Kyler.
So today I am going to be rebuilding the carburetor on the Luv in a way. I ended up buying another spare parts carburetor and took both mine and that one apart, figured out what parts were the best, and we're going to go ahead and build a carburetor from the bottom up and try to make the Luv be able to actually run decent today. So let's get set up to rebuild it and get this going. Okay, so I got both carburetors disassembled to start off with. I went through, just wiped everything down, didn't really scrub anything or clean it thoroughly, but figured out which parts were going to be the best and laid them out. And yeah, so this is everything we're going to use to try to build a Quadrajet here. Alright, so we got the throttle body to start off with. I did not take out the primary or secondary throttle blade shafts and just left those all together. I did try to take one of the screws out for taking the butterflies off, and it broke off. I did not want to go any further, so just left it at that. I'm gonna go ahead and use the original one that we were using, the new top and the new body, the original choke, and then an assortment of the different stuff. So, alright, first things first, I go ahead, take my gasket. I'm not doing a rebuild on this. This is very, very ghetto. I do not recommend doing this. So, yeah, don't do this. I am reusing gaskets. Alright, so we got the throttle body ready to go. We take the main body of the carburetor, flip it upside down. There's these two little plugs. Those are prone to leaking, so I do recommend sealing them with epoxy, like a JB Weld or something, is what my other one has on it. So I'm not gonna do that right now just because I don't want to spend the time, and yeah, I wanna just get going. So to start off with, gotta put the gasket down. There's little pins, alignment pins, so you kind of got to press them down, use a little bit of force to put it into it. And I did get a rebuild kit a while ago, so this stuff is pretty recently new. Just go ahead and use the exploded view here to make sure everything is going right, assembling it right. So just put the gasket on, and we're going to go ahead and put our throttle body down. Slips right on. Alright, so the screws for the bottom here, I'm using the Phillips ones off of the newer carburetor instead of my Torx ones. It should be a little bit easier this way to have the tools on me if I need to work on it on the side of the road. I really hate having to have Torx bits with me and everything. Just a flathead Phillips and a crescent wrench is what I try to stick with for the most of the time. So just get these a little bit snug here at first. Don't want to torque them down real hard right away. Alright, so now that they're all tightened, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of force on them and actually snug them down. Try to do it in increments to not warp the throttle plate. So don't want to go too tight on those, that should be plenty. Flip it back over, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start with the simple stuff. So my fuel fitting is an AAN outlet. It is from Russell, so, and then I used to not run a fuel filter actually, but I'm gonna do it now because I found out that the fitting is actually made to where it fits in there how it's supposed to, so go ahead and do that here. There's a spring that goes in first, then the fuel filter inside of your fitting. Try to get that a little bit snug. And there is a little plastic O-ring grommet on the back side of it to help seal it, so don't want to forget that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and install the seat right now. So I actually have a couple different options. So this is the one off the original carburetor. That's the one off of the newer one. And then this is out of the rebuild kit. The reason I decided to go with this one is because it has the side outlet fuel spot. So the fuel goes right up and out those spots and doesn't have to go all the way to the top to fill the bowl. So I'm hoping that that will be a little bit faster response for filling up the fuel bowl, but that's all in theory, and for all I know, I might not know what I'm talking about, honestly. It does not need to be tight. So, because I don't have a screwdriver that goes all the way across, I'm just putting it on one side, pulling it, the other side pushing it, and then that should be plenty tight enough, I'm hoping. So next we're going to install the plug and check ball down in here. It goes right into there, if you can see. So drop that right in, and then screw it in, and it just needs to be snug. Does not need to be tight, torque down or anything. Just making sure I'm not cross-threading here. So your secondary air baffle, you want to make sure to install it back in there. It is a required item. It will not run right when the secondaries open up if that is not in there. A lot of the information that I have got is off of Cliff Performance, I do believe it is. He has done a bunch of research on these Quadrajets and knows how to build them. If you have any questions about them, definitely give him a call. Just throw that in there. It's pretty simple. For the brake booster vacuum source, got this fitting right here on the back. So put it on. It's just the OEM fitting with the tube and a flare fitting and stuff, and I just cut the tube off and I put my rubber hose right on it. Not the best, but it works. Alright, don't want to go too tight on that either. This is all aluminum, so we really got to be careful not to strip anything out or over torque it and warp it. So for the jets, I'm not too sure about what sizing I want to do now. The original carburetor had 73s, I believe it was. Maybe it was 72s in it, but I believe 73s. The new one, I can't read the jets off of them, but I think they're 71s. But they could also be 77s. It's hard to tell, so I'm probably going to use the original jets. For the accelerator pump, I'm using the spring out of the newer one. They're the same exact size, everything, so I know that they're going to have the same specs. And then the accelerator pump out of the new one with the seal off of the old pump because I just installed it recently. The other accelerator pump spring is going to be used for something else here, and we'll get to that once the rebuild is done. I'm just going to throw the plugs on stuff right now to make it a little easier on myself. I think that one could use replaced actually, it's got some cracks on it. Okay, so I'll replace that one too. Accelerator pump's ready. So this clip we'll just use to retain the throttle linkage. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So I'm gonna grab the jets really quick and then get them installed. These are 73 jets. It's because I can't identify the other ones. I'm not going to install them yet, and maybe I'll try to get a magnifying glass or something later. And if I have to take it back apart and rejet it, then so be it. It's not that big of a deal. This way though, I know everything is clean, nothing should be blocked, and good to go, I'm hoping. So just get those snug. Alright, the jets are installed on the primary side. The secondary side looks right. For a second I thought something didn't look right, so we're good to go here. Now I do believe that this spring goes underneath my part throttle adjustment, but I'm gonna wait on installing it just a minute here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the choke assembly next. So this is a hot air choke, but as you can see, the fitting where the tube comes in from the intake manifold, cut it off, JB welded it, sealed it up. I do not run a choke plate or anything, so this way it does not cause a vacuum leak or anything. It's still on there, and yeah, so the only reason it's on there is so there's no vacuum leak. Now, there is a rod that this connects to. That is going to be this one right here. So I want to make sure to get the correct orientation on this. Alright, so I do believe it's like this. Now let's hope I don't mess it up. So then we got to do our fitting for the air. It just goes right into there. The only reason I know which screw it is because it's got the largest washer out of any of them on there. It's almost like a concave washer to where it's a bubble. So it helps keep those tight and pressure on them. You know, I've never liked carburetors, never liked the idea of them or anything like that. The only experience I ever have had with them though really has been, well, that doesn't seem right. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. The only experience I've had with them is dirt bikes and everything, so when it comes to like a car, not really something I know. Alright, see if I can show you this. So when I assembled it, this rod here was above this little nipple and it interferes with it, so I gotta throw it beneath it, and then so it rides right underneath that. See if I can do this. So this little foot needs to go, looks like this way on there. Yes, so that's where that has to go on that. Yes, so that does seem right. So the rod needs to come in from the back side, the carburetor side, onto the linkage, not the other way around. And it seems like everything clears good then. Okay, 3 hours later. That is ready to go. Part throttle adjustment. Ooh, I was gonna cut a notch into this so I can go at it with a screwdriver. I forgot about that. So I'm gonna hold off on this to do that. So, as you can see, hopefully, maybe, well, it's like a square drive. It's got a flat side on either side of this. So I'm just gonna cut a notch in the middle so I can use a flathead easy tuning instead of having to have a special tool. This is only a 4.3, so I really don't need a lot of fuel, a lot of performance out of it. I know it's not going to be capable of much performance, so right now, what I am waiting to do, I need to get a tap to get that at a 1/4 inch MPT plug, part throttle adjustment. That is right there. It is going to happen. If you can see that, this little hole. You can kind of see it right there. And then we're going to go ahead and grind a notch, part throttle adjustment screw. Waiting on doing that to assemble pretty much the rest of it from the looks of it. So everything else that I have, I am waiting on modifying this and modifying the screw. If I had the screw modified, I could throw the rest of it pretty much together except for the top. But because I need to cut a notch in it, I'm going to wait and do that and that for this afternoon. And I'm going to go out to lunch. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. So where we left off, I needed to modify this little piece right here. Come on. It's the part throttle adjusting screw. I don't think it's gonna focus for you guys. Oh, there we go. But, so, ground the notch into it. That's what the other side looks like, so that's ready to go. And then we needed to tap this and get a plug in it. So, got that ready to go. That'll give us access to the part throttle adjustment screw without having to take the carburetor off. That'll be pretty nice. I did end up taking it back apart and I epoxied right here and there. So I'm pretty sure that's the spot that are known to leak. That's the one that's epoxied on my carburetor. But I also epoxied right there because, well, there was residue on mine, just not the actual stuff. Where are you going, Alex? Oh, he's on the move. Bye. So, I just used JB Weld, the quick set stuff, so I only did that a couple minutes ago. It's ready to go. Clearances are all good on this. Nothing hits. Get this put back together for you guys. And hopefully we can go start the Luv in a little bit. And that one. Okay. So as stated before, definitely want to just go little bits at a time. Don't want to just torque down right away so we don't warp that plate here. See if I can get this camera set up for you guys. It might make it a little bit easier. Alright, so those are good to go. So we got those tightened down. Now we're gonna actually really get them good. We're gonna take, let's see, yep. So we're gonna take the part throttle adjustment screw and the spring. The spring goes down first and then the screw goes down, so right there. That's all the way seated. Alright, so I do believe factory settings is 2.5 turns out. Go ahead and do that right now. So there's 1, there's 2, 2.5 turns, should be right there. So that's our starting point. We got our jets in already. The seat, the check ball and plug is in there and ready. Now I need to decide which rods I want to run. I don't know what the difference is, but one is a 49 and the other is a 52. All right, so the 52 is going to be a little bit leaner, I know that, so I think I'm going to go with that one. So, go ahead and do that. The baffle first, and then these. Oh, I bet then I'm going to not have to fight with it. Oh no, I'm still going to have to fight with it, aren't I? Betcha. Alright, so for the third time, get this seated. Okay, so that's the newer one. We'll put that one down first. And then the accelerator pump goes in. So, next thing,
we do have to put the top on. And like I told you guys earlier, this is a used gasket. Do not do this. It is not smart. It is a little bit difficult, but not really at the same time. So you got to make sure to line up the rods that hang down from your top plate and your little piston there at the same time. First ones I'm going to put in are going to be the flatheads. Go down inside. So they just sit one right there, one right there. Just get it a little bit snug, not super tight. So good for now. So we're going to next put this baffle on. So a lot of the Quadrajets don't have this, and the reason is, I think it was more of a high performance thing. It's supposed to prevent fuel splash, if I understand correctly. I saw that online, so I'm not exactly positive. Doesn't even show on this paper what it is. So it's not required, but apparently it helps to prevent fuel splash up or some splash back when doing a launch off of the line. I mean, it would make sense to me if you launch really hard, otherwise fuel could splash up and into the secondaries. Maybe. That's just a guess though, so I don't know. Alright, so now I'm going to go for my final tighten. I'm not going super tight on these, just a little bit. And again, trying to go in a little bit of a star pattern from the center out. Now, I think my carburetor originally used the primary vacuum brake for the secondary baffle dampener. I'm not sure, can't remember. Either way, this is how it is, and it works. I'm gonna go ahead and install the secondary metering rods next. Again, this is a K hanger with DP rods, which doesn't mean anything to me, but whatever. I just used the leaner of the sets of stuff I had. The leaner secondaries, the leaner primaries. The 4.3 is definitely not going to need much fuel. Secondaries, good to go. Open up good. And again, I had 2 carburetors out of the bunch, so who knows? The parts are just mixed at this point, and just got the stuff that was better out of each one. So we're gonna get the accelerator pump arm put back in right now. So that's lined up and pushed back. It's just a little roll pin in there, so that is how I ghettoly built a carburetor, a Rochester carburetor for our Chevy Luv. Now let's see if it works, because I just mix-matched parts. Alright, so the carburetor is rebuilt. Used parts from both the used one that I bought and the one that was on the carburetor. Seems pretty good to me. Obviously it looks dirty, but I did wipe it all down and try to get it as clean as possible without scrubbing it. So we'll go ahead and install this in the Luv probably next video and see if we can get it to run a little bit better here.
Clearly, Kyler decided to assemble all of this without me. So here we are. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a different video. It was more of one of our assembly videos. If you did enjoy it though, make sure you give us a like, because it would really help me out and I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't already and you want to see some more of our stupid stuff with the Luv or the diesel, make sure you subscribe to our channel and tap that little bell so that you don't miss out when any of our new videos come out. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you next time.